wrongfully convicted, can you put your trust in the justice system? Imagine hearing a knock at your door on a beautiful spring day. You answer the door as you normally would, just to be kidnapped and held against your will. What would you do if you put your trust in the criminal justice system and it failed you? What would you do if you were sentenced to life in prison or even death for a crime that you know that you didn't commit? What does the judicial system do when this happens? These are questions that are not often thought of that I will address today. When one thinks of the justice system, you think of righteous punishment. The word justice speaks for itself, right? Wrong. According to Ballantyne's Law Dictionary, justice is the end which ought to be reached in a case by the regular administration of the principles of law involved as applied to the facts. Facts. Everyone would want some type of justice if a crime were to be committed against them. But believe it or not all justice is fair. Since the founding of the Innocence Project in New York City, there have been 290 exonerations in the United States based on DNA evidence, 17 of which were sentenced to death. Over the past 12 years, DNA evidence has exonerated 7 of Georgia's inmates who were convicted on faulty eyewitness testimony. Calvin Johnson was the 61st person in the United States to be exonerated based on DNA evidence and the first in Georgia after spending 16 years of a life sentence in prison for 2 rapes that he did not commit. Imagine. Some would ask, how could this be? Well, there are a number of reasons why people are wrongfully convicted. In most cases, it is due to unreliable eyewitness identification. The criminal justice system is far from perfect. Over the last 20 plus years, appeals courts found errors in 80, that's right, 80% of murder cases in Georgia that ended with death sentences. To date, no one knows how many people that have been wrongfully convicted in our prisons, and not enough people care to find out. Most people feel that inmates deserve to be in prison. They are much more comfortable believing that justice has been served than are worrying that it might not have been. An accusation that a person has committed a crime is enough proof that that person is guilty. Together, the 7 exonerated men have spent over 100 years in prison and cost the state a total of $2,286,112. It cost the state on yearly average of $22,079 per offender. The state awarded over $4 million to the 7 men that were wrongfully convicted. Although $4 million sounds like a lot, most of the exonerees didn't even receive compensation. Furthermore, how can you compensate someone for taking their life away? How does this affect us? Well, we as taxpayers pay the average cost of approximately $49.35 per day to house and feed offenders. Since we, the taxpayers, are footing the bill, shouldn't we do everything in our power to ensure that we are not spending money on people who shouldn't even be in prison? Needless to say that the U.S. has a lot of work to do to improve the criminal justice system. The fact remains that taxpayers will always be taxed for the housing of inmates and will continue to put their trust in the criminal justice system. Not that you shouldn't trust the criminal justice system. You should be able to trust the criminal justice system. But I come to you today because this is personal to me. You cannot imagine what it's like to be kidnapped and held against your will until you or someone that you love have experienced it. Calvin Johnson, the first exoneree in Georgia, is my fiance. Although I did not physically experience this injustice, I experienced it in spirit. One can never get back all the years that are lost behind this. Parents pass away knowing that their child is innocent. Children grow up never knowing their parent. I come to you today not only to inform you of the injustices in our system, but also in hopes that as you receive this knowledge, you will not be quick to judge or condemn someone whom you feel is guilty. But as individuals, stand strong and help one another to make a difference and hopefully change the injustice in our justice system. Imagine being kidnapped and held against your will. That's exactly what the state did to these exonerees. Again, I ask you, can you put your trust in our justice system?